I'm surprised by the complete lack of care here in Houston for something that's the biggest story in the NFL this week. Stefon Diggs playing against his old team in a marquee matchup of two of the top 3 to 4 AFC teams. I can't believe that it's not getting the kind of buzz here. And I get that the Astros were just in the playoffs, but now that it's over, I feel like we can focus on this, Joe. And this is a pretty big story, especially seeing as just a week ago, after the Bills housed the Jaguars, you heard Josh Allen say this after the game.
Paying dividends of what we've worked on throughout the entire offseason and through training camp of the everybody eats mentality. And again, it could be your play, this play. You never know when it's going to happen, and that's the beauty of it. When guys get to buy into this and really understand, like, I may not get the ball 4 or 5 times thrown to me a game, but the 1 or 2 times I do, I'm going to have opportunities to be in the end zone. And, it's a fun and wonderful thing when you got a bunch of guys that don't care about the stats. They don't care about the touchdowns. And again, I think throughout practice, we've just had this mindset of like, hey, let's just do things the right way and find ways to win football games. That's what we're doing right now.
Joe, I don't care what kind of clarification Josh Allen does afterwards. When you're saying guys who don't care whether or not they get the ball 4 to 5 times just makes for a better atmosphere, like you just heard from Allen there, he's clearly talking about Stefon Diggs. Is he trying to be mean? I don't know. But are there sour feelings? I don't know. But who could that be about other than Stefon Diggs?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could technically make the arguments about Gabe Davis. Like,
that would be funny if it was Gabe Davis.
Now that Gabe Davis is in Jacksonville, the vibes here are just so much better. No, look what was happening before Stefon Diggs got traded. He was subtweeting Josh Allen. He was liking tweets, Instagram posts. He was liking stuff when we could see public lights on Twitter about Josh Allen and his distribution of the ball to his wide receivers and at Diggs. Like, we know what happened last year with Diggs when they changed the offense and focused on running the ball more. Diggs' targets and everything went down. Like, we know who Stefon Diggs is on the sidelines sometimes. It's so obvious it's about Diggs. I also don't understand why it's not a bigger story, especially because when you do think about the Astros and what we've seen, we still have media that feels it's important to talk about a stupid hat for Garrett Cole that still has an obsession about people, like Carlos Correa every time they come to town, or AJ Hinch just coming back to town, or George Springer coming back to town. Like, all we talk about is rivalry games. There was more talk about the first time James Harden played at Toyota Center as a member of whatever team he was on, the Brooklyn Nets, than it was for this week.
Will we get a tribute video?
Yeah, like there should be some juice to this because revenge games matter. We heard Jonathan Bernard talk about it before and after the game with the Vikings. I hope one of the reasons why the Texans win this weekend is because I want to hear what Diggs is going to say. Like, I want to hear that soundbite. That's the soundbite that's going to be like, it's going to be gold if the Texans win this game.
Here's the thing. I don't think he's going to say anything, and here's the reason why. Part of it is because he's, I think, trying to turn over a new leaf. And to his credit, he has seemed like a really good leader since he has joined here. A couple of moments in particular that stand out. Sideline of the Vikings game, he's being positive while the Texans were stinking, gathering everybody around and talking to them. And there was another moment, too, where a holding penalty killed a Texans drive in the fourth quarter. And it was Stefon Diggs who was giving everybody, including all the offensive linemen, a handshake when they came off the field. I think he is aware of the perception of him, and he is trying to change people's perception of him. And he deserves a lot of credit for that. But at the same time, I am surprised by how he is being treated by Houston media here, who seem to be a bit deferential in that they don't want to step on his toes and ask him about something that literally everybody that follows the NFL wants to know more about this week. I get it. It's about the guys who play the game on Sunday. I understand that some people are just about the game. But given what you were just talking about, Joe, all the subtweeting and all that stuff, and given that clip that was 2 weeks ago from Josh Allen, how could you not ask about it? Now, Allen clarified later in the week and tried to walk it back a bit. And this week when he was asked about Stefon Diggs, he said this.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm sitting here. It's not the most unusual thing. I think this thing happens from time to time. And, I got a lot of love for him. I still do. The things that he did for me in my career and the things that he did in the Buffalo Bill uniform won't be forgotten anytime soon, especially from me. So that's how I look at it. At the same time, going into year 7, I understand the business and the aspect of what this league is. And again, I'm just trying to focus on what we got going in this building.
All of that is fine and good, but 2 things here. First off, Stefon Diggs definitely was made aware of those comments by Josh Allen. Definitely.
Oh, of course he knew.
And I'm sure he has some thoughts that he's going to keep to himself on that front, to the point where he would not make himself available to the media after the Texans win over the Jaguars on Sunday, which, by the way, not allowed. But hey, I'm not the big J journo here. I'm just pointing out what has been happening. The Texans have really not made Stefon Diggs available that much. But leading up to this game, I thought for sure that they were going to put him on the podium and they were going to live stream the press conference on YouTube. They did not do that. And I can't believe is on top of that the people that are covering the Houston Texans here in town only posted this. This is from Landry Locker, who asked this question about Stefon Diggs and his return to Buffalo and how he sees it.
Leading a team like Buffalo that you're trying to get on that tier with, and you've been in that situation in Buffalo, is there any added importance of a game like this?
No, I mean, I feel like the main thing is you gotta understand that they're in the AFC. And so standing is obviously something real. You obviously got division games, and you got people in the AFC that you gotta see along the line. I feel like this schedule, we damn near literally play everybody. So damn near counts as 2 when you play teams like this, especially when they're a good team, obviously. But trying to reach a goal or trying to get somewhere, you gotta take a 1 week at a time. You want to go 1-0 no matter who the opponent is, and I feel like that's the main thing. Obviously, coming out here with a win is what everybody wants. So I don't think that'll jump you into a tier. You won't get a no tier until you get in the playoffs and furthermore. But going 1-0 is going to be imperative.
How do you make this week?
He just mansplained. Hey, you got to play teams. And look, the Bills, they're in the AFC, and you want to win every single week, and you want to go 1-0 at a time. He is trying so hard to not talk about Josh Allen. And to his credit, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not here to walk him into a trap or anything like that. But, Joe, that's the only thing that anybody in Houston media posted of Stefon Diggs talking about the Buffalo Bills. That is it. Just Landry Locker, the only one. What, you don't want to step on his toes? You don't want to ask him about what Josh Allen said a week before? Someone has to do that. Someone has to do that. And I'm sorry to tell the media how to do their jobs, but I can't go to those availabilities since they happen during our show. Somebody has to ask him about those comments. I'm sure he'll give a no comment. I'm sure he'll roll his eyes. I'm sure he won't be your best friend anymore. You have to ask that question.
I mean,
you
it's the
have
same
to.
thing. It's. I'm not surprised. I wonder what the inner workings are at times of what happens. With some of those media guys and the PR staff. I mean, look, this is a media group. And there's a lot of people in there I consider friends and I like, but no one even seemed to care that they didn't even do a press conference for him when he got traded here. There was no care in the world, and it felt like to me the same thing we're talking about now. Where it's they didn't want to make Diggs answer questions about his tweets and his stuff with Josh Allen because let's focus on just being a Texan. Let's just focus on that. So I don't know if that's a D'Amico thing, a PR thing, a Diggs thing, his agent, whatever it is. They just seem to not have the interest even allowing the opportunity for that. And then, yeah, I mean, look, I have no problem saying it without, I think, you there and with Brian T. Smith in London, I think we miss a lot of the tough questions because Chandler doesn't cover the Texans. So
and look, you mentioned Chandler. A lot of people were at the Astros game during Stefon Diggs' media availability, so maybe
that's
that
also
helped him out
possible.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But here are the questions that were asked. Okay, because I texted DJ. I actually texted DJ. What the bleep? No one asked. No one asked about Josh Allen's comments. The questions that were asked: what kind of emotions are there getting ready to play your former team? He dodged that. Talked about his leadership early on. How instrumental have you been in Nico Collins' development? Bills fans. Stroud complimenting him and his fit in this team. More from CJ. Another question about CJ. I couldn't hear it. That question that Landry asked after there's extra magnitude going up against a team like the Bills. And how do you make this week not bigger than what it is?
I think that Nico one's the weirdest question. His role in Nico's development? What a weird question to ask. Yeah, I don't get why they're not more curious. Because I'm curious. What is Stefon Diggs? Because that's what I think is it takes a little bit of the juice away from this game. Not that he wouldn't walk it back or say nothing, But I want to know like what Stefon Diggs is thinking going into this game.
I'm curious. I know he's not going to share with us. I just think that the people that are here in town, one, have an obligation to ask that question.
I agree.
And two, I can't believe nobody posted about that. It's clicks, baby. Don't you guys care about the national story that blows up in a local publication because people are clicking on it or crediting you or whatever. That should have been done.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to go big in this industry, that's what you're supposed to do. This is the click story this week. So I'm disappointed. And I'm sure I'll see some of these people on Sunday. I'm sure someone will walk up to me and say, I didn't really like what you said. Someone should have asked him about what Josh Allen said after the Monday Night Football game. That's it. That's all I'm trying to say.
I agree.
I can't believe no one asked him about
No, I very much agree. It should have been asked because it was about Diggs. Like we said at the start of the segment, It was about Stefon Diggs. Who else would it be about?
Yeah.
Like, it was a shot. It was a direct shot at Stefon Diggs saying that the vibe here is better because we have someone that's not here getting upset when they don't get the ball.
Exactly. And for context sake, Joe, Davante Adams. Questions are being asked about Davante Adams, not just to head coach Antonio Pierce and to quarterback Gardner Minshew with all these trade rumors circling him right now. Davante Adams is even being asked about these trade rumors by Kay Adams. Derek Carr, who is on the effing Saints, is being asked about Davante Adams. Technically, that's tampering. Gerard Mayo on the Patriots about to throw a mutiny on their head coach per one of the reporters who covers the team, who was then forced to walk it back by calling into the flagship radio station, which is honestly one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever had as a Patriots fan, seeing that happen. Everyone is being asked about Davante Adams. You can't ask Stefon Diggs about what Josh Allen said. Mark Cooper's being asked about trade rumors involving him.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, this is not that hard of a question. And if Stefon Diggs can't handle it, I mean, dude, this is part of the job. This is part of the job of playing in the NFL, and you made this happen. You have been treated very, very, very friendly since you have come here. You have not had to do that many media availabilities, and I'm not demanding that happens all the time, but you're going to face questions like this, and someone has to ask questions like this. But I don't know.
It's also not our job
now
to protect him from the question.
That is my sense, and I'm sure that some people will be mad that I feel that way, but that's how I feel. You have to ask that question. He's not your friend. He's someone you cover.
Yeah, I mean, like there are people.
And if he can't handle that, does that have ruined your relationship with him? I mean, come on, that's pretty soft on his part.
No, like I'm going as a fan this weekend, so like if they yank me before I even go, like, but the person who like was getting people fired and was yanking credentials all the time, she's not even with the Texans anymore. So like I don't know what they're scared of at this point from like the PR staff. Like the PR staff's great. Like you ask a tough question, they're not gonna be wrong. So they just didn't want to ask it. They didn't want to ask it. I don't know why. And I want to know his answer. So now I'm just hoping the Texans win on Sunday so we can get an authentic Diggs answer, because that's the time to ask, because AKA Paul's going to be there, assuming he's available to the media.
We'll see. We'll see after the game. I mean, he better be. And he better go to the podium too. From the 832, how about the media ask grown man questions and not instigating bitch questions? What's a grown man question? Is it flexing towards the guy and saying, look, hey, like when you guys are in 11 personnel, like what do you think that really does for the offense? Is it asking something stupid like that? It gives a non-answer that no one cares about?
No, because if we ask that question, then someone would just call in and say, you guys only play Pee-wee football.
Oh, yeah, that's true. By the way, no, I played high school football.
Same.
But I was at the 1A level of Florida, which is a very low level.
But it's still Florida.
And I was all district.
Yeah.
Just saying.
All district Paul.
That's right.
Safety.
Glory days. Well, they'll pass you by. They passed me by, all right. They passed me by.
You never know. We'll see what the workout looks like afterwards.
I woke up aching, Joe, in the middle of the night because of that cop that got attacked or whatever.
I was just surprised they pushed the blue alert that early in the morning, and it's so far
I didn't know
away.
a blue alert existed.
Yeah, I thought it.
I thought a tornado was hitting, and I was like running around, freaking out, hearts palpitating, looking for my cat so I can go hide it in the bathtub in case things fall apart. I was like, oh, this is in Lubbock?
Well, Mapes texted us saying that he turned off the Amber Alerts. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could. I thought they were like auto on your phone.
No.
I'm not.
You just go to notifications, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you can turn them on.
I would like to turn off the silver alerts, to be honest. No offense, old people out there. Like, I'm not going to stop your car from not going to stop Grandpa from driving his Buick. Okay?
I don't think I get those.
His Lincoln Town car. No, they used to have those, and there would always be up on there's this one like screen that's on 59.
Uh-huh.
It's like silver alert. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's like, I guess
yeah.
it is something I want to know about. If like there's an old person that shouldn't be driving on the highway, I definitely want to know about that.
Yeah, but it's Houston.
Yeah,
80% of the
yeah.
people on the highway shouldn't be driving on the highway.